Hi guys, it's time for next live stream.
Hi guys, how are you doing? No way, so fast.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, I was
Hey,
I was ready. I had my timer ready to go. Excited.
yeah, I'm so excited, but I'm really shocked because Instagram really
I'm sorry.
makes me jokes. I said Instagram really often makes me jokes, and I have problem with connection. So I'm so
Oh,
happy that we've got this finally.
yay, that's good.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just came back from class. I had to like really quickly do my hair to make sure I didn't look like I just rolled out of bed. But yeah, going off of coming down from like a big week, OCD awareness week was really busy and fun.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
my friends and I
Absolutely,
actually,
absolutely.
what, sorry?
Yeah, keep going, keep going.
Oh, my friends and I actually went to the Houston OCD walk, and that was also really fun. And I got to see everybody. So yeah, sad it's not OCD Awareness Week anymore, but looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I'm also so excited about all the whole OCD Awareness Week. It was really busy, but I think we did a lot of good things during this Awareness Week, and so many people were joining so many events also. And the next month, I'm going to organize the first OCD walk in Poland for the first time ever.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, that's so cool! That'll be so
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
What's
I'm
the
so
weather
happy.
like there?
Once
Oh,
again,
sorry.
yeah, I'm
I
so
said,
happy
what's
and
the
so yeah. Sorry,
My bad.
no.
It's hard on live stream.
Yeah, yeah, I know because yeah, I know. So I'm really happy because also Andrew from Berlin will come to Poznan to my city, and I'm so excited about that. So yay! But after OCD Awareness Week, I almost lost my voice.
Oh no! Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
yeah, but I'm really excited about today's live stream because I know how important it is, and I also so excited because we've met for the first time in Chicago, and I'm
Right.
so
Yes.
happy. Yeah, and I'm so happy that we can meet today again.
Yes, definitely. Last time I saw you, you were wearing the OCD Awareness Week glasses that I had to take for the
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah. So, Kyra, maybe introduce yourself to people who join us today, and then we can start with our topic.
Yeah, definitely. So hi everyone. My name is Kyra. I have lived experience with OCD. I'm also an OCD advocate for the International OCD Foundation, and I run my own organization providing support to those affected by OCD. It was really difficult for me. 2021, not a good year, not a good year. That's when my OCD was really at its worst, and I didn't think that a life after OCD or life I could get back to where I was before I had OCD, like outgoing, things like that. I couldn't even like walk on floors. It was really bad. Um, but with hard work in ERP, I was able to take control of my life again. And now I want to help others do the same, hopefully give some hope and say it's not easy, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to having you here because I know how important it is to speak out loud about mental health and about therapy, and especially when young people are talking about this without shame, it's so important. so important.
Definitely.
So thank you so much for joining me today. And And I think we can start. So maybe a few words about me because I'm also IOCD advocate, and I'm so happy that I could meet you in Chicago. And I think many people knows me as intrusive OCD memes. So I'm trying to spread awareness through my memes, but also through live streams and speaking about mental health in general, about therapy, about anything around OCD and mental health, because I know it is so much needed.
Definitely. It's so important. There's such a lack of it in the media right now. So yeah, your memes are amazing. It was so nice to meet a like celebrity at the OCD conference. I was like shell shocked a little bit. But yeah.
It was crazy time in Chicago, so I'm so glad I was there and I met so many amazing people because this community is truly wonderful and amazing. So,
Definitely.
Kyra, we can start with our topic because we know that about therapy there are many misconceptions, many myths, and sometimes, or not sometimes, maybe often, people don't understand how important is therapy, or they don't understand that going to therapy is not weakness, but it is strength. So we can start from this point because I have I had in my life few people that told me that I am not so strong as they are, and that's why I decided to go to therapy.
That's crazy. I'm so sorry that you were told that. Absolutely not true at all for anyone watching. Going to therapy does not make you any less than. In fact, it makes you more self-aware and you're trying to better yourself, which is what's really important. Um,
Yeah,
I I was saying I wish back in like 2019 to 2021, Kira would have could have seen that because I could have gotten help like a lot sooner. But in the beginning, I it was also a stigma around like therapy and things like that, and I also just didn't think I needed it. And so I basically was just like, oh, like I don't have OCD, like I'm fine. Spoiler alert, was not fine. But yeah, it was really difficult for me to admit to myself that I needed more intensive therapy. And finding the right therapy for me was really, really a journey.
yeah. Oh, Eva is with us. Hi, Eva. We met Eva in Chicago also. This is a wonderful 8 years old girl. So nice to having you here, Eva also. So sending you hugs from Poland.
And from
So
Houston.
yay. So uh, it is absolutely true that going to therapy is about being aware of what we want to achieve and about helping ourselves. And it's not about, but because I also heard that I pay for talking to someone, you
Mhm.
know. And
Right.
this is also not true. This is not that I don't need a friend that I will tell any of my feelings and emotions and I will cry and I will be okay. Therapy is not this. So also
Definitely.
also people don't understand how important is therapy and how therapy can change your life and can save your life. Because we know
Yeah.
that living with OCD is like hell.
Right, definitely. I personally would not be here today without therapy. Like I said, 2021, not a good time. I was actually having like a lot of like suicidal ideations at that time, and I just didn't think that I could get past my OCD, and I thought that that would be all I ever thought about. But yeah, I eventually decided to put myself in front of my OCD, and I just kind of had a heart to heart with myself, and I was just like, you know what? If I keep going down this path, there's only like one outcome, and I just probably wouldn't be here. So I need to make some kind of change. I have to at least try. I owe it to like myself. And so then I'd say like I started putting myself before my OCD, and saying that I was more important and that I was going to control my life and it wasn't anymore. And it was very, very difficult. Each day was a struggle. Some days I felt more motivated than others. Others I was just like, not happening. And that's completely normal through therapy for things to like ebb and flow. It is nothing like you're not doing anything wrong. It's just how OCD kind of like therapy goes. So that was also difficult to understand, but yeah, I would not be here without therapy. And it was really hard for me to decide how to like see myself and be like, you know what? I need professional help because whatever I'm doing right now, I'm not cutting it.
Yeah, and this shows us how brave we have to be and how strong to decide to go to therapy and find professional help. Because I think maybe this is not such a big problem like in many different countries, so in the USA, but it's also thinking like, you know, you are broken if you're going to therapy and something is wrong with you, and there is a lot of stigma around this. Or people who struggle with different disorders are not aware that without therapy they can't make a step forward.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So,
Investing in your time in therapy is investing in yourself. And without therapy helping you like change your ways and things like that, change habits, break OCD cycles, there's going to be no improvement. And I also, talking about like the stigma around OCD, my dad is Chinese, so this was 2019 after my first hip surgery, and this was when my OCD, contamination OCD, was starting to like go a little bit crazy. And so basically, I was like really worried about what my crutches touched and my socks and my slippers, and they couldn't touch the bed or anything like that. Or my shirt that I was wearing couldn't touch anything else before being put on my body. And so my mom and my dad were trying to help me. And obviously, it's very frustrating for both parties when they're doing accommodations because both people are just trying to do the best they can. But my dad ended up getting like really frustrated, and he's just like, oh, like, I don't know why you have all these thoughts. You should just stop thinking about it. Like, I'm embarrassed. I have to tell people about you. And I was like, yeah. So when that was also like in the back of my mind, and especially since my whole like OCD is in your mind, I thought there was something wrong with me and that I didn't deserve to be fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of stigma around OCD, around the different disorders. And when we speak about therapy, maybe I will ask guys if you have any examples of myths, let us know, because I had many examples, and even in my close family, my family member asked me if uh, my family member asked me if I should know everything after 2 years of therapy.
Definitely. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I should know everything and I can now fix myself without therapies because what else I can to talk about in therapy after 2 years? And this is absolutely not how it works.
Definitely. It's an ongoing process, and it takes a long time to build like skills that you can implement in your daily life. And it's still important to have that support system in place. Like the first year I went to college, I still did like telehealth appointments with my therapist because I knew that the transition was going to be very, very difficult. And when I go through times of stress, my OCD tends to flare up. And so I knew I needed extra support during that time. And yeah, going to therapy for OCD is an ongoing, I guess, endeavor because unfortunately
Yeah.
OCD does not have a cure, and there will still be things that we struggle with like on a day-to-day basis. But the important thing is that we're not controlling our lives, and that's how like therapy helps us do that.
Yeah, and also it is really helpful to understand what really OCD is and what it isn't, and that healing process or recovery process isn't linear because so many people think that you can go for 2, 3, 5 therapy sessions and you will be fixed forever. Not true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely very, very false.
Yeah. And even if we can be in therapy for 2, 3, 5 years and we will be okay for the next few months, it is possible that we can have also a really tough OCD episode in the next years, and this is something normal.
Definitely. OCD loves to flare up. And for me, it does at like the most inconvenient times. So when I'm like really
Yeah.
stressed out about school, I notice like I start to have a lot more intrusive thoughts. I
Yeah.
start to want to do compulsions that I haven't done in a while. And
hmm
that's kind of thankfully now having gone through that cycle a few times, I'm able to like recognize it and say, hold up, like we don't want to go down this path, and then start doing more ERP and implementing it into my day-to-day life. But like this summer, I was working full time at a law firm, and it was very stressful. And I noticed a lot of intrusive thoughts starting to creep out of the woodwork, and also my OCD trying to like morph and change. So that's also another thing. OCD has many different forms, and it doesn't have to just stay in one. For example, I've had ritualistic OCD when I was a competitive gymnast. I had contamination OCD. Well, I have contamination OCD. Perfectionism, magical thinking, just right. And so knowing the skills and how to apply them to one, I guess, OCD subtype is completely different to another one. For example, some of my compulsions started to become more mental, and I really only started to do ERP with like physical exposures. So I didn't know what that would look like doing exposures for just intrusive thoughts and like pure OCD.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. OCD has so many different phases, and when people don't understand what OCD is, they also can not understand how important is therapy and how complicated can be recovery process. And it is not a sprint. It is a long distance marathon, and it is really important to understand this because also, when you, for few years, you're still doing compulsions, people can think that therapy doesn't work and therapy is not necessary because you're still doing compulsions. But with time, you can doing compulsions for 2-3 hours a day less than at the beginning, and this is a really big progress.
Definitely. I fear I related with that a little bit too much. I used to be one of those people who are like, ERP doesn't work. I've been doing it. I haven't seen any improvements. But that was just kind of when I was like a petulant teenager, and my mom was mainly forcing me to do exposures. And so I was just kind of doing them like halfway and not really like putting all of myself into it. And like whenever I was done, I just like washed my hands real quick or something like
Hmm.
that. Um, but then it wasn't until I started doing ERP for myself and really taking my own active role in my treatment, that's when I started to see results. So like after two
Yeah,
to 3 weeks, I was like, oh, like turns out I was the problem there. Like I was, it does
yeah,
work, and I was just being silly goofy. But yeah.
yeah. This is a really important point because people who are at the beginning of their recovery journey think that therapy will help, but the most important part is between therapy sessions. If you want to recover, you have to retrain your brain thanks to ERP, but it is really hard because you have to be motivated, you have to be self-aware, and you have to practice. Without practice, our brain will be at the same point when at the beginning.
Definitely. It's not just the therapy sessions that are going to
Yeah,
fix you or make your compulsions better. It's the individual work that you do on your own, plus learning how to like cope with your intrusive thoughts and do better exposures. And my therapist really helped guide my thinking patterns to reduce my rumination, which was really helpful. And so I was able to apply those things that I learned in between therapy sessions, and I could see them working in real time.
absolutely. And I think also that so uh, I heard maybe 1 year ago that uh, OCD OCD came to me because of something, and I told this person, no, this is bullshit. OCD doesn't give me any positive things, but therapy does. And therapy helps me to cope with OCD, to not engage with intrusive thoughts, but also therapy gave me a much more because it is not only think about OCD, it is about functioning, about being present at the moment, about self-awareness, about self-compassion. There is a lot of things that therapy can give us.
Definitely. And I had to learn, especially you said, like be kind to yourself. I had to really learn that a lot because I'm my own worst enemy, and I do self like deprecate a lot. And during my OCD therapy journey, if I could do an exposure one day and I couldn't do it the next, I was like, I'm getting worse. I'm doing this wrong. I'm never going to get
Yeah,
better. And it really kind of took me a long time. And acceptance and commitment based therapy also really helped with this. But
yeah,
just kind of like holding your mind gently and realizing that it's okay to have a bad day, as long as like the
absolutely.
general trajectory is up, it doesn't matter what the day to day is. And it's completely normal with OCD. So I had to really learn that and stop beating myself up about every single little thing that I thought I was doing wrong.
Yeah, this is amazing thing, self-compassion, because when you understand that this is okay to take a step back, backward and fall down, and then you can get up and go with your day, with your values. It really matters, and it is really hard to be self-compassionate at the beginning when you don't understand that mistakes are parts of this journey.
Definitely. It took me a long time. And my first flare up, oh my gosh, was insane. I believe that was when I started my second internship in high school. I was also starting to get really stressed, and at the time I was managing my OCD pretty well. But then once the stress kind of took over, I'd say, my OCD got a lot worse again. And so I was like, I'd done it to myself again. Like, this is the end. Like, I'm just gonna keep falling back into bad habits. And I was really like mad at myself, and I was like, I should have noticed the signs. I shouldn't have stopped doing as much ERP. And it's really important to just notice that flare-ups and bad days are going to happen, and it's nothing against
Mm.
you
Yeah,
personally. It's against the OCD.
yeah.
And it happens to the best of us, honestly. I still happens. And once you go through a few times, you will start to notice like the signs, and be a little bit more self-aware. So thankfully I've like stopped myself from
Mhm.
regressing times. But yeah, that first time was really bad.
Yeah, and OCD is trying to convince us that we have to do 100% of work or everything is ruined. And this is bullshit, because we can make small steps forward even if we can't resist compulsion, but we can wait 30 seconds just doing nothing. It is also a huge win.
Definitely. The OCD mindset, all or nothing, is so impacts every kind of like aspect of people's lives, and especially like the treatment. So that's
Yeah.
definitely very applicable.
Yeah, when I was struggling with eating disorder also, and I counted calories, I started counting even curry, because I thought that if I didn't counted this, the whole my progress will ruined, and I have to start from the beginning with my workouts, and so the same thing is with OCD, and we have to remember that. So I think we talked about so many important things in therapy, and we showed how complicated it can be and how complex it is in reality. Uh, and this is not only thing that we go to therapies and we we are talking for 45 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour, and that's it, and we feel better because we are talking with someone. No, this is
Right.
not true. So maybe we can answer a few questions.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I have to scroll.
so how do you
Not very
get
good
what
at
you,
our lives. What, sorry?
yeah, you can scroll and find some. Oh, what are some of the challenges you experience as a student with OCD? I think this is
Ooh.
for you because I'm not a student anymore.
Hey, every day's a school day. Gotta remember, you learn something new every day. Um, yeah, that's a very good question. Like I mentioned before, when final season starts to roll around, or I have a bunch of big projects, or I'm starting a new internship, that's when my OCD can flare up a lot. Um, I am also lucky to be able to have a living accommodation on my campus. So I have my own room that I can like retreat to if I'm feeling really overstimulated or like my OCD is really getting louder. And I knew I needed a space that was like my safe space to kind of go back to, because even just like leaving my room, going to places, I'd also never been to a real, I guess, school. I was always homeschooled. So that was also a very big adjustment. But from freshman year until now, I've made a lot of progress. I have my friends over all the time. We eat, we can make a mess, and sometimes I'm a little more yikes about it, but freshman year here would have totally flipped off the rails. A lot of things also contamination wise, like setting my backpack on the floor of classes and then putting my backpack in my room. One of my exposures when I came to college was touching my backpack and then like touching like my clothes in my drawers, or putting my computer on my bed because I like would take out my computer and work on it during the day, and things like that. So that was a lot how it related to school. When I was in high school, actually, I struggled a lot with perfectionism OCD. So basically, my mind convinced me that I had to get 100% on every single test, exam, quiz, even just like a little like knowledge check. And even a 99% was like the end of the world, and I would crash out and cry, and think that I was just like the worst, and I wasn't worthy of wanting to go to like a good school, and I thought that it was basically over. And I knew even in that moment how irrational it was, but that still didn't take away the fear. And OCD is irrational. So yeah, that took me a long time to get under control, to the point where I would be rereading like the same paragraph and checking the same answer for maybe like 15, 16 hours a day. I'd just be like sat at my desk rereading the same things because I was convinced I didn't understand it enough and I was going to get something wrong. Or it could also be this answer, the uncertainty. Also, my OCD didn't love that.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that you are at this point where you are right now, because I know how important it is to start therapy as soon as possible. And sometimes people don't realize that therapy is so important, and they are waiting for so long. And in my case, I had the first OCD symptoms when I was a kid, when I was about 10, but I did nothing, and I didn't have a good psychiatrist or therapist, so I started my therapy in 2023. Now I'm 38, so when I was 35, I started 36, I started therapy. So I think I had luck because I decided to go to therapy, but also I struggled with OCD for so many years, and that's why we are doing this live stream, because we want to show people that they don't have to wait. They don't have to be scared of going to therapy, and we want to show the society that therapy is nothing bad. It is something amazing, and it is a sign of strength when we decided to do this step for ourselves.
Definitely. Admitting to myself that I needed therapy was the hardest thing maybe I'd ever done, and going through the process of therapy. So yeah, if anybody's watching this, hopefully learn from our mistakes. Don't put it off getting help, because you deserve it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure that when someone will see what we are telling here, it will help. Maybe people who are struggling, maybe their close ones, maybe someone from our society to better understand their friends who are struggling with OCD. But I think all we are doing as OCD advocates makes a huge difference.
Definitely.
So,
Kudos
Kyra,
to
I'm
us.
so
Kudos to you.
yeah. So the last word, I think we have to tell this once again out loud that therapy is a sign of being brave, of being self-aware, of being a superhero, because the fight we are the effort is so hard with our own brains that yeah, it is worth the effort to start find help, professional help, and and give your lives back from OCD.
Definitely. And it's hard in the moment. I didn't think that I was strong enough to go through treatment. I didn't think I was brave enough because going through ERP is basically facing your biggest fears every day. And I was like, whoa, I personally can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is possible and it is so worth it. And the OCD community is really amazing. How people have given me hope when I was really in that bad position, and I've reached out for help, and we're all here to support you. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kyra, so much for today's live stream.
Of
I'm
course,
so
thank you so much for
happy.
having me.
Yeah, and I hope we can do something amazing in the future also.
Definitely. Will I see you in Seattle next year?
Yeah,
Yay, awesome. Excited for that already.
yeah. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.
Thank you. Bye.